Hey guys, so welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine, and we're here with an exceptional talent. We know that Wiaan Mulder. He's been to this channel so many times. He's spoken to us so many occasions, but now we've got him for a different type of sit down because for the magazine we decided we're going to make an entire theme about Test cricket and the step up, taking the step up from juniors right up until domestic cricket, right up into the Proteas setup, and what that step up is like. So we know we'll be speaking to quite a lot of guys in this particular themed edition of the magazine. And I thought about it, and I was thinking long and hard, who will I interview for this one? Because other guys have their guys lined up. And I was like, there's no one else but Vian that I can think of right now, because I mean, for him, the rise has been crazy. So welcome to the show, Vian. And I'm really excited to talk to you. Since your debut against Sri Lanka, you have continuously improved. And to many fans, you are seen as the number one all-rounder now in the test side. I don't know if you know that fans on this channel, that's what they label you as. What has been key to you finding your rhythm in test cricket specifically?
Hi Khalid. It's nice to be on the show. But yeah, so for me personally, it's quite a surprise to see that I'm the number one all rounder. I feel like in Test cricket, I haven't really stamped my authority, I guess. I feel like I've bowled well, especially when the teams needed me most. Which is like I'm very happy about that. But I don't think I've delivered with a bat yet. I've got it in nicely. I've faced a lot of balls. In Test cricket, you don't get many bad balls to score off. So I haven't managed to put the runs on the board yet. But I feel like everything is in progress, and I have improved a lot, especially from my younger days, especially from my debut, as you mentioned, against Sri Lanka. But I think, yeah, to be successful in Test cricket, you really have to know your game well. I think as a young guy, I don't know my game as well as I would like yet at this stage. Bouch always says I need to listen a little bit more to the senior players, and I've done it before. Um, and because I'm quite a big instinct person, I do. I guess you can call me a scientist, but when I'm playing, I try to follow my instinct as much as I can. So I can't give you the right answer in terms of what it takes to be the best in Test cricket, because I don't think I've figured it out yet. But if you look at the successful players, they know their game and they're consistently doing the same thing in practice, the same thing in the game, and they're extremely focused. So I think, yeah, that's pretty what I'd say.
It's good that you mentioned that, because my next question is about that. Because when I first saw you play, of course, it was with a bat. That's when I saw you for the first time, and you were dominating with the bat in age group levels. And immediately I was like, you're going to be a batting all rounder. I'm batting the top order, top five most likely, and then bowling was going to come second in my eyes at first when I first saw you. But as things went about, and I mean, a lot of people will remember the fact that you were so young when you were in the domestic setup. I mean, there was a picture that you know about, that with you in your school uniform in the dressing room. Everybody speaks about it. Jeffrey Tayana obviously famously always talks about it. Um, but in Test cricket, we can see the ball has become like your main weapon currently. You've been seen as a bowler more often. You haven't really, like you said, you haven't really came to the party with with a bat as you'd like. Let's just start with the reason behind that. Why do you think that it's been so tough with a bat for you?
So I still think I'm definitely a batting all rounder. I don't think I've got something special necessarily as a Vernon Philander or Sean Pollock necessarily, who's like incredible bowlers. I think they had a little bit more skill. They had a lot more responsibility with the ball as well. I think my responsibility with the ball is very simple at this stage. It's pretty much always to try and dry up as much runs as I can. Keep it very simple, bowl to very simple fields. So my job is very obvious at this stage as a bowler. I think every time I get a wicket, it's a bit of a bonus. And I think because it's so simple at this stage, wickets actually come a little bit more than you expect. So I think at this stage, it's just because of my role in the team that's a little bit easier to succeed as a bowler. As a batter, to be honest, I don't have an answer. It's a weirdest situation because I've never played this role necessarily where I'm bowling a lot more than when I'm batting. But I think at this stage, it's just I'm still learning a lot with my batting. At this stage, I get myself out a lot with a bat, and I think in Test cricket you can't give your opposition a little opportunity or a little edge, and that's what I'm doing at this stage. It's incredibly frustrating, to be honest. But I think in Test cricket you don't get, so you're not always on top of the bowler. You have to really compete every ball. And if you look at someone like Dean, who a lot of people have said don't necessarily have the best technique, doesn't move his feet necessarily as much as other batters, but I mean, yeah, over 40 in Test cricket, so it's all about competing every single ball. And I'm still in the beginning of my career. I'm still trying to figure things out and try and be a bit more consistent. But I think with time, the batting will come, and yeah, hopefully it takes me back to age group cricket where I bat more than I bowl. But at this stage, both, and it's an incredible privilege to play Test cricket. And if that means I'm going to have to bowl well now to keep my position, then that's what I'm going to have to do. But yeah, hopefully I can put my hand up with a bat soon.
You've got one of the best weapons, actually. You don't actually, I don't know, you probably do know it, but the weapon that I see with the ball, what makes you so amazing at getting wickets and being so effective is the consistency and the ability to put the ball on the same spot over and over and over again. Now, you've improved a hell of a lot in that time. I feel that with regards to from your debut in Sri Lanka to the last series against Pakistan, the way you put that ball on the spot consistently over time, that's what's going to make you an amazing bowler in Test cricket. I think that's what distinguishes the best from the rest, and you're on a great path over there when it comes to that. I want you to tell me a little bit about your discovery in Test cricket. Your rise was quite meteoric, as we know. From Kai Majolo, we straight into the Lions, straight from school to the Lions, straight into the Proteas setup at such a young age. So I think you're probably the best person to be able to describe that jump and what that jump is like from domestic level into Test cricket. What do you think we can do at domestic level to improve that transition? Seeing that you have had to do it very quickly, I think you're the perfect person to talk to about that.
Yeah, so I think it's quite a big jump in terms of mentally dealing with situations. The pressure is a lot more in international cricket. I think that's something that's got the best out of, well, not the best out of me, but got the better of me. I struggled quite a bit with it in the beginning. I'm quite an anxious person by nature. So when I dealt with that pressure in the beginning, it was mostly adrenaline. And then you have to find a way, I guess, to just compete. And I don't think I handled it as well as I could have. And I think that's a lot of my batting failures has come from, like, you can call it a brain fart, I guess, or something silly happening. So I think the biggest jump from franchise cricket as a young guy, from school cricket to franchise cricket to international cricket, is the pressure and the expectation to deliver all the time. Because if you don't deliver, you let the team down big time in Test cricket. Small moments change big sessions, change the game quickly. I think our domestic cricket in terms of standard is pretty decent. We've, especially the last season, we've had a lot of international cricketers play, South African cricketers play in domestic cricket. I mean, it was the first time ever I played against Quinton de Kock in a 4-day game. Aidan Markram played most of the 4-day games. So, I mean, that just shows you that the international guys who are doing well, played franchise cricket. So I think the standard is relatively good. As I said, the step up, the hardest thing is the mental side of the game, dealing with failure, dealing with success, and how we can close that gap. I think is pretty much through exposure. Pretty much, MSL I think is massive for South African cricket in terms of having more international cricketers playing week in, week out. If you're playing against international cricketers, you naturally improve. You learn from them just by watching them, especially when you play against them. I think the TV doesn't quite do the same, do it as much justice. Actually playing against some of the best players in the world, and I had the privilege to play against the West Indies in the last T20. and just how much you learn from someone like Dwayne Bravo, how he bowls, Kyron Pollard, how he sets up an innings, watching Chris Gale, Hetmeyer, who's becoming a really good player. You learn so much, and I also saw how someone like KG responds when he deals with pressure. Shamo when he's dealt with pressure, and I think in those situations that's how you close the gap. And I think that's why we competed, because over the last 3 series, especially in T20 cricket, there's been a lot of exposure for new players, actually due to COVID, and I think that's helping South African cricket slowly but surely, because more guys are learning to play international cricket, I guess, because I think it takes time to deal with playing against the best.
So I know you a type of guy that you're really hard on yourself if you don't perform. I've seen it so often. You really have high standards for yourself, and I really appreciate that a lot. And we want those type of players in the team. Of course, everybody wants players like that want to continue to learn. With regards to your batting, I'm almost certain that you probably will be looking around the dressing room and asking guys for advice. Well, what sort of things have you learned from the guys like Quinny and like, especially in Test cricket, I'm like Dean Algar, for example, because I mean Dean is almost like the perfect example of how to consistently grind it out. Rassie van der Dussen, I mean, someone that's in your dressing room when you're playing for the Lions. I mean, that guy is incredible, the amount of consistency that he brings to the game. So what sort of tips do they give you? I mean, it must be invaluable lessons that you could give to other youngsters about things that you learned from them.
Yeah. The common thing with me is they actually get very frustrated with me. So we've got this little like scope, I guess, that the Proteas try and follow, and yeah, they call it basically we want to be artistic hunters, which means hunters obviously you have to plan to hunt, but in artistic it means you're following your instinct mostly. Where if you become scientific about things, you the type of guy that looks at videos and overanalyzes a lot of situations. And like due to my injuries, I guess when I was younger, I never used to be a scientist, and then once I got injured, you're always trying to find a way to not get injured. So it became a lot of science instead of just rocking up and playing and competing every ball, and that's kind of like filtered into my game and my mental side of the game a lot. And they hate the fact that I'm such a big scientist at the moment, where like I overanalyze a lot of situations, my downfall big time. So the biggest tip and advice that they've given me over the last, I'd say, year or 6 months to 8 months is I need to like just start believing in my instinct and competing every ball. And if you look at someone like Dean, the science side of things kind of falls away when you're facing Mitchell Stark, or I mean even someone like Shaheen Afridi, Jason Holder doesn't miss. If you're thinking about technical things all the time, you're not giving yourself the best chance. You're not actually focusing on what you have to do. So that's been the biggest tip from all of them is train hard and do your science when you're training, so that when you can play, you that none of that is in your mind. You're just competing every ball. So like I said, they Quinny gets so upset with me, and he shut up and listen to me. Just keep quiet and listen to me, and you'll be fine. Because I just want me to just play.
It's great to hear that a guy like Winnie is passing on his knowledge to the youngsters. I mean, he's such an exceptional talent. But Wiaan, as long as you don't become a mad scientist, I'm happy with you being a scientist.
Yeah. Well, if it's my performance, then I need to change something. And it's frustrating, man. It's so frustrating.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, just trust your ability, man. You have an exceptional talent. Lastly, I just want to talk about school cricket because it's a big problem for me.
Sure.
Now, when I spoke to Dayan Halim and I spoke to Zubair Hamza as well, they spoke about when they came out of school, there was this 3-day competition that they used to take part in that prepared them kind of for red ball cricket and going in. At the moment, with the new restructure, we know that there are going to be a lot of guys losing contracts, and that gap has now, there's no semi-pro cricket at the moment. You just have the 2 divisions. So on the flip side, maybe those guys filter into club cricket, but club cricketers don't necessarily get paid everywhere. So because there's some pros and there's some cons, I was hoping that from a monetary value point of view, that all of these guys filtering into club cricket will increase the amount of sponsorships involved, that will increase the money that clubs get, and then essentially people will be getting contracts from that. But I don't think it's going to be as quickly as I thought to market it in that way. So because I know how difficult marketing is, and with coronavirus coming eating us, it's obviously going to be a little bit different, and that's also stalled some of the plans. But with school cricketers, you have Kai Majorowicz. So guys like Sinitembe Koshile would have probably played like some time cricket at Kai Majorowicz, but then after that, there's nothing really from a red ball cricket point of view. Certain clubs are thinking about, or certain provinces are thinking about maybe dropping the 2-day cricket in club cricket, which is going to mean less red ball cricket that's going to be played and more emphasis on white ball cricket. So so if they don't have a meteoric rise like you do, for example, going straight from school cricket right into domestic, they might have a little bit of a problem in the amount of red ball cricket that they'll get to play if they don't make either Division B or Division A teams. How do you think we can improve that going forward? What do school kids do now already when they grade 8, 9, 10, 11 when they're in high school? What can they do to improve their red ball cricket ball game so that they can get better and be cited by these franchises and clubs?
Yeah, I think that's $1 million question, to be honest. Because I think we're going to lose a lot of cricketers, and that's the sad part of the whole restructure. As good as I think the restructure is going to be, you always have to find a way to look after the grassroots, the people who's going to fill your boots once you're finished. And yeah, like you say, that's a bit of a concern. I do, as I understand, is there will be almost under 23 league type thing, which we used to have as the Colts week, and I think that's what Wiaan might have referred to. I don't know. I've never played in one, so it would be wrong from me to say that that's exactly what it was. But as far as I understand, is there will be an under 23 type of league. I don't know if you'll be paid, maybe an academy contract or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know if you'll be paid to play in that league. But it's more. I don't think it's a bad thing if you're not being paid straight out of school. If I take my journey again, I would say. I would actually say go and develop first before you get thrown in, because a lot of other issues come in as you go straight into franchise cricket or that type of thing. I don't think it's a bad thing because more people will try and study and play cricket through universities and clubs, which will strengthen that system. But there has to be a feeding system. And as a young guy, I would always encourage to play club cricket as soon as you can. I started playing at 14. I started playing for. I did not get an opportunity to play at the Wanderers or anything like that. I don't think I ever was good enough to necessarily just demand a spot. But I got the opportunity to play for Dobsonville Premier League and then for Soweto Premier League. That's where I got my opportunity, and I learned so much playing against men, people who've played for years. And that's how I grew. And I would, if I was a schoolboy, if I had a son, I would say go play as much cricket as you can. Learn to play against those guys, because even though you're playing 1-day cricket or whatever, you're still out of your comfort zone. You're still learning. And in 4-day cricket, the principles of cricket stay the same. You still have to have a good defense in 1-day cricket. You still have to be able to put away the bad ball. It's just about teaching that discipline of not getting out. And that's what someone like Dean does well, and I necessarily do poorly. But that's time will improve that as you go. But as a young guy, it is a little bit of confusing, and I think a lot of people will try and go overseas to get an opportunity, something like that. But I mean, in the end, you have to play cricket. You have to love cricket to go on, and if that means it goes to university, hopefully they've got an under 23 league, which it seems like that is the process. You might not be paid, but I mean, you will be paid eventually if you're good enough. And the two divisions do give a lot of people opportunity. There is opportunities to come into a team or whatever the case may be. So I don't think it'll be too long before they have another second tier side, like a Strikers was, or Western Province necessarily had a B side. I think that will be there, but how soon we don't know, like you mentioned. But at this stage, if I was grade 9 or grade 10, looking back, I think you must just find a way to play cricket. Does that answer your question?
Excellent advice. 100%. Thank you a lot for that. Excellent advice to all the guys out there. So you've heard what Wiaan has to say. Please subscribe to the magazine, of course. You'll get the issue for that particular magazine straight to your notifications and in your inbox. So it's everything about Test cricket, everything you need to know about Red Ball cricket. We have some great insight in that magazine. So please, this is like a teaser for that. So please, guys, go and download that issue of the magazine. Wiaan, thanks a lot for coming on the show. I'm really excited to speak to you again, maybe after the island tour. Good luck for that. I hope you guys you play more cricket over there. Of course, I want to see you more in the T20 game.
Thank you. Thanks, Khalid.
Oh, sure.